What's up, Sud Squad? Joanna here, aka the Soap Gal. Today we're going to discuss why I decided to focus on white label manufacturing, private label, custom manufacturing. It all started back in 2016. Family business that did goat milk soap with my brothers and my mother and my family, and we had a herd of goats, and we made our soap, and we went to farmers markets and fairs and festivals and had an Etsy page. Basically sold our soap how everyone thinks that that's how you sell soap. And then people were starting to ask us if we can make soap for them. So I started making soap for other people who like sold vegetables, and then they had their own line of soap. And at that time, I didn't even know that that was white labeling. I just thought that they really liked my soap and they wanted to sell it too. We were doing that, and then as the business grown and things changed and family changed, we no longer had Together Farms, and Darren and myself, we focused on our own brand, and at that time we created a brand called Vintage Sud Soapery, and Darren had his brand called Gratitude Candle. We went to trade shows, and when we were at trade shows, I started seeing a lot of people having different products, and I would go up to them and I would ask them, so what about your soap do you love so much? What's your super fat? Do you water discount? And I would want to get into, like, you know, Suds talk. They didn't know what I was talking about. So I came back and I asked them, do you make your soap? And they said no. And oh my God, that was like, you don't make your soap? Who makes your soap for you? And then that's when I learned about white label. Larger brands use contract manufacturers to make their product. What an amazing gift to be that contractor, to have that trust with those brands that are spending thousands of dollars to go to trade shows and to have that person's product with their packaging in it. I personally find that to be the ultimate gift to trust. I prayed and I was like, God, this seems so interesting. So I went back and I asked different brands, if you ever need any help, I would be honored to be able to help you. And they asked me what my price was, and I had no clue what my price should have been at that time, years ago. And I was like, you know what? If that contract manufacturer can do it for, you know, $2, I should be able to do it for $2 for the same type bar. And so I figured it out. And that was the beginning of my custom manufacturing journey. From there, I was still doing, you know, vintage suds, and I was doing contract manufacturing, but you know, you can't have two masters. You can't be doing both things. So at that time, I decided to go, it was at a local fair Christmas time called Festivus here in Arizona. At that festive market, I had like, I don't remember the exact number, but it was definitely over 5 different people selling different varieties of the soap that I made to represent their brand. And I remember walking to each booth and asking them if they would feel more comfortable if I didn't have a booth there and be their competition. And every one of them looked like a sigh of relief, like, wow, to not have to compete with Joanna in the same market. They didn't want to tell me not to have a booth because that's how they met me. But that was my answer of, Joanna, focus on white label. After I did that and I was just focusing on white label, that's when God opened up the doors and I was able to receive other brands. So now I have been focusing on white label exclusively. The Soap Gal was born in 2019. So for the last 4 years, that's all I have worked on, is growing our team, becoming good manufactured, and being the best co-packer that a brand could ever have. I take their business probably more serious than my own business sometimes, because it's such an honor to be able to make products for them. So I'm going to go into depth in my next video about what is white label custom manufacturing, what is wholesale, what is retail, and kind of break it down for you, because you know what? I want to give you the business advice so you can decide where God's directing your path. Remember, lather, rinse, profit, repeat. Looking forward to seeing you soon.